सत्यबोधक समाजाचे सृजनशील चित्रकार सत्यबोधक समाचार. नमस्कार. सत्यबोधक समाचारच्या या भागात आपणा सर्वांचे पुन्हा एकदा हार्दिक स्वागत. आजच्या भागात आपण सिंगापूर येथे झालेल्या माइंडमेस समिटचे सविस्तर वृत्तांकन पाहणार आहोत. कुठलेही तत्त्वज्ञान केवळ तत्त्वज्ञानाच्या अभ्यासापुरते व संशोधनापुरते मर्यादित राहू नये या दृष्टीने पूर्णवाद प्रणेते जीवनसम्राट विद्वद्रत्न डॉक्टर रा.प्र. पारनेरकर यांनी पूर्णवाद तत्त्वज्ञान आधी प्रयोगातून सिद्ध केले. या प्रक्रियेत त्यांच्या संपर्कात आलेल्या अनेक व्यक्तींच्या प्रापंचिक अडचणी सोडवण्याकरिता या तत्त्वज्ञानावर आधारित जीवन पद्धतीचे संस्कार त्यांनी जनमानसामध्ये रुजविले. त्या काळात सामाजिक आव्हानांना पेलण्याचे बळ त्यांनी प्रत्येक व्यक्तीस देण्यास प्रारंभ करून अत्यंत सामान्य पद्धतीने इष्टदेवतेची उपासना देऊन उपासकांना आनंदी आणि समाधानी जीवन जगण्यास प्रवृत्त केले. या उपासना मार्गाला विद्येच्या स्वरूपात शिष्यांना देऊन जीवनकला साधकांसाठी वरदान ठरणाऱ्या पूर्णवाद तत्त्वज्ञानाच्या अभ्यासाची गोडी लावण्याचे कार्य पुढे पूर्णवाद सम्राट डॉक्टर रा. पारनेरकर यांनी केले. त्यातूनच जगभरात उपासकांची संख्या वाढत गेली व पूर्णवाद परिवाराचा विस्तार आता वैश्विक स्तरावर झालेला आपण पाहू शकतो. बदलत्या काळाप्रमाणे बदलत गेलेल्या उपासकांच्या मानसिकतेमुळे आजच्या आधुनिक काळात अपेक्षित असलेले अंतःप्रेरणाशास्त्र त्यांनी आता निर्माण केले आहे. या शास्त्राचा सखोल अभ्यास व्हावा व हे शास्त्र केवळ मर्यादित कक्षेत न राहता त्याचा जागतिक प्रचार प्रसार व्हावा या दृष्टीने डॉक्टर विष्णू महाराज पारनेरकर यांनी माइंडमेस समिटचे आयोजन जगातील अनेक देशांमध्ये करण्याची प्रेरणा याच शास्त्राच्या अभ्यासकांना दिली आहे. या शृंखलेतील प्रथम ऐतिहासिक माइंडमेस समिट नुकतेच IIT हब म्हणून ओळखल्या जाणाऱ्या आणि विविध देशांच्या नागरिकांचे वास्तव्य असलेल्या सिंगापूर येथे संपन्न झाले. अनेक सामाजिक व व्यावसायिक संस्थांचे संस्थापक अध्यक्ष, संचालक, मार्गदर्शक आणि जीवन व्यवस्थापन तज्ज्ञ असलेल्या व त्याचबरोबर अंतःप्रेरणाशास्त्राचे संशोधक या नात्याने ॲडव्होकेट गुणेश पारनेरकर यांच्या मार्गदर्शनाखाली हे समिट अत्यंत यशस्वीरित्या संपन्न झाले. या समिटसाठी अंतःप्रेरणाशास्त्राचे जनक डॉक्टर रा. पारनेरकर यांच्याकडून ज्यांना या अलौकिक शास्त्राचे दीर्घकाळ प्रत्यक्ष मार्गदर्शन लाभले असे श्री रोहित कुलकर्णी, श्री नचिकेत पाटील, प्राध्यापक सुशील देशपांडे, श्री संदीप लावर, श्री सुशांत देशपांडे आणि speedy.ai चे संचालक श्री प्रसाद हिंगे, श्री अभिजित कुलकर्णी, श्री सौरभ जोशी यांनी या कार्यक्रमाच्या नियोजनात सक्रिय सहभाग घेतला. दिनांक 16 ऑगस्ट रोजी सिंगापूर येथे अग्रगण्य शिक्षण संस्था असलेल्या NTU @ 1 नॉर्थ स्थित सभागृहात माइंडमेस समिट व याचबरोबर या वर्षीच्या IIT अवॉर्ड समारंभाचे आयोजन करण्यात आले. या कार्यक्रमाचे सूत्रसंचालन श्री संदीप लावर यांनी केले.
It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the Mindmesh Summit 2025 here in vibrant city of Singapore. Welcome all. At this place, we are not just those who are sitting in this auditorium, but at the same time, there are 2,000 plus people watching us online. So, welcome all those who are watching us online. Thank you for joining us. This summit is inspired by two great visionaries, Most Reverend Dr. Ramchandra P. Parnerkar and Most Reverend Dr. Vishnu R. Parnerkar, whose mastery of life management, innovative and scientific approach on designed intuition continues to guide us. A big round of applause to honor their vision. Today's summit is all about exploring the future of AI, tech for humanity, and design intuitions, and how these ideas will shape humanity together. We have the brightest minds with us, and I promise you an evening of deep insights, inspiring stories, and meaningful conversations around these topics. So, welcome you all.
सौरभ जोशी गुरुजी यांनी वेदमंत्र पठण करून
हरि ओम सहस्र शीर्षा पुरुष सहस्राक्ष सहस्रपाद सभूमिं विश्वतो वृत्वात् अत्यतिष्ठत् दशांगुलम्.
सिंगापूर येथील पूर्णवादी कार्याचे नेतृत्व करणारे श्री अमोल खाणेकर यांनी सिंगापूर परिवारातर्फे सर्वांचे हृदय स्वागत केले.
Tonight, we are going to hear from great speakers, panelists, which we have planned. Basic divergence which we all are experiencing in the field of intelligence, and which is really led by the whole digitalization which is happening in the form of AI, cloud, blockchains, and with the human conscious. So the divergence what we are really going to be talking about tonight is really this human intelligence versus the human consciousness or the human intuition, what we call it. And the basic premises here is rather than having this divergence or decoupling, we should be really looking at an harmony, because as per Dr. Parnerkar and the thesis what he's presenting, the harmony is what will lead the society towards complete satisfaction, happiness, and essentially to lead a successful life, which I guess everyone is working towards.
श्री प्रसाद हिंगे यांनी प्रास्ताविक करताना या माइंड मेस समिटच्या आयोजनाबद्दलचे उद्देश व त्याची आज गरज याबद्दल मार्मिक असे विवेचन केले. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजन्स हॅज टू बी ब्रिज्ड विथ अल्गोरिथमिक इंट्युशन. Then and then only we can be able to live a real human life in this world. We can see how many people are interested in this mission. There is a fear in my mind. In some time, this auditorium will be filled by robots, and they will be discussing how we would overpower the human intelligence, because we have given them that might from our side. But one thing which they will be missing is the intuition. The machines may not, but let us own this intuition book for ourselves, research it, think over how we will be able to use this power, not just to be utilized by AI, but utilize the AI. Even in academics, we don't find students who want to go into arts. Some go in commerce, many go in science, but there are very less a number of people who want to go into the field of arts, because maybe their artificial intelligence cannot be used. We have to use emotional quotient. Emotional thought process has to be there. And here, we are here to understand how we can create a path for the next generation to understand what humanity is really going to be tomorrow. Otherwise, there is a possibility that we fail in giving our next generations the knowledge of the past, the experience of the past, and that's the reason we are here. यानंतर समिटची सुरुवात प्रमुख पाहुणे सुप्रसिद्ध नेतृत्व प्रशिक्षक श्री सुनील देशमुख यांच्या कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता आणि अंतःप्रेरणाशास्त्र या विषयावरील मुख्य भाषण.
Yeah, how many of you remember that there was a pilot who landed an aircraft in a river and saved 155 lives? All you remember? Do you think that was intuition? Maybe. We are not sure. But there was a guy called Sully, and his name is Sully, and there's a movie on that. I don't know how many of you have seen that movie, a great movie, where this pilot Sully landed the aircraft on the Hudson River in America and saved 155 lives. And that's the study we as a psychologist, we are still trying to find out, right? Whether it was an intuition, what was it that made him to think that he can land the aircraft into the water and save the lives. And we call it as intuition. People give it different names to that. I'm fine with that. When a chess grandmaster plays, he just makes the moves, right? Every time he or she does not have time to think that what will be, because they know the chessboard so well and they have practiced the chessboard for thousands and thousands of hours, they just take the moves. When you go on a football field and when Messi is playing, I'm just using the name of Messi, okay, when he is playing, he just plays by his intuition. because he has created so much practice. He knows where to go, how to go. He does not have time of rational thinking. If I hit this ball in this angle, this will happen and all those things. No, intuition just comes like a flash, right? It just comes like a flash, but it also goes like a flash. So very important is how do we catch the intuition? So you know it's artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines, which basically thinks like a human beings and mimics the program, right? And its capabilities to learn, it learns on its own, it solves the problem on its own, and it makes the decisions on its own. And that's the simple definition of AI. Enabling AI system performs the task typically faster, quicker, efficiently, or whatever it is. Intuition is an ability to understand something like this instinctively, right? Immediately, it just comes and hits you, right? Without a need for conscious reasoning. You cannot justify, you cannot define why that idea came to my mind at that point of time. What was the background of that? You can't do that because that's instinctively. The power of faculty of attaining a direct knowledge, even though you do not know that subject, will still get a flash of light or flash of memory. And in this book called Intuition, which some of our speakers will speak, we use the concept called meta-intelligence. So intelligence which comes through an intuition is beyond our expectation or beyond our absorption. It goes beyond that, and that's why it's called meta-intelligence, like we call metaphysics or meta-sciences, something like that. Now, there are 4 faculties of human experiences, right? One is, of course, intuition, instinct, emotion, and intelligence. Now, how do we see intuition as a human being? What is our perception of intuition? We have different levels of perception. Someone says it's a thought of flash. Someone says intuition is a God's way of thinking. Right? Someone says it is an unconscious information of silo of memory. So there are multiple ways we sort of perceive intuition. People many times cannot name what is the intuition. This intuition in real life, develop the habit of listening to you. Intuition is like a muscle. More you use it, stronger it becomes. So you have to get used to using the intuition. If you don't use the intuition, it's not going to be helpful to you. And it's not necessarily you will always get a positive intuition. Intuition is not necessarily always positive. It depends on you, how you use it, right?
यापुढे नियोजित प्रथम चर्चासत्राचे आयोजन करण्यात आले. या सत्रात रिस्पेक्ट AI टेक फॉर ह्युमॅनिटी या विषयावर झालेल्या चर्चेत डिजिटल व ॲनालिटिक्सचे संचालक श्री अमित सुरी व सायबर सुरक्षा ESG मॅकेन्झीच्या सल्लागार आंचल गुप्ता आणि नेतृत्व व कार्यकारी प्रशिक्षक सौ आरती रेजिन यांनी सहभाग घेतला. वरिष्ठ प्लॅटफॉर्म अभियंता, कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता व क्लाउड तज्ज्ञ श्री अभिजित कुलकर्णी यांनी या संवादाचे मॉडरेटर म्हणून कार्य केले. श्री अमित सुरी यांनी फूड चेन सप्लायमध्ये AI वापरून झालेल्या बदलांबद्दल आपले मत व्यक्त केले व त्याचबरोबर या क्षेत्रातही अंतिम निर्णय घेताना अंतःप्रेरणेचा उपयोग निश्चित होतो असे विचार मांडले.
My simple question to you, sir, is that how you see particularly that artificial intelligence can help the humanity. So in terms of food and supply chains and in all aspects of humanity, what the role of artificial intelligence you see in the future?
Human is to be social. The essence of human is to get connected, and the essence of human is to have as much as networking and as much as a mechanism to be interacting with the other humans. And this is a space where I feel, whether in corporate, whether in supply chain, or where most of the organizations today, like I come from major part of my career where has been spent in the consumer good company, where we are trying to establish the network and interconnections, whether it is with the households, whether it is with the end consumer, or it is with the intermediaries when the products goes into from point A to point B. And that is where the point lies, where humanity will grow the maximum. If AI happens to be in terms of improvement that it can bring through. Of course, it can eliminate, it can work in the reverse direction also and make it non-social in terms of the behaviors and being it more individualistic. But more importantly, the mechanism that it provides to be interconnected, the mechanism and the revolution, for example, the WhatsApp has provided as one of the example, has revolutionized the whole world and has brought humanity to a much greater levels. To me, therefore, AI stands in terms of doing exceptional work in this space, which will make our supply chain more robust, more agile, and will bring humanity into the whole angle into it.
सौ आरती रेजिन यांनी आधुनिक काळात लीडरशिप प्रशिक्षकाची गरज किती आहे याबद्दल आपले विचार मांडले व त्या म्हणाल्या, कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्ता कितीही विकसित झाली तरी नेतृत्व गुण प्रशिक्षकांची माणसाला नेहमीच गरज भासत राहील व त्याकरता अंतःप्रेरणाशास्त्राचाही अभ्यास गरजेचा आहे.
But my simple question is that for a leadership guidance, if I can go and take the assistance of AI, is there is a real need of physical leadership coach in that context?
However, when it comes to transformation of a person, you were talking about appreciation. There is some concept called appreciative inquiry. When you are working with humans, you require that appreciation. And ChatGPT every day tells me, oh wow, great question, Aarti. You have been doing a good progress on this particular issue. Why don't you go ahead with this particular thing? But that doesn't please me. I feel, oh, ChatGPT must be saying it to everybody, anybody. So that is something which a human says. If you say to me that, oh wow, you are doing great, it makes a difference to me. And since that makes a difference, human coach is still required. However, along with that, nowadays there are some chairs which are available. If you sit on that chair as a coachee, all the sensors will be there, and the sensors will measure your feelings, what kind of waves are there, whether you are feeling joyful or not, whether you are feeling angry at something. And that is something which is giving inputs to the coaches as well. And the coach, along with the human intuition and the inputs from the AI. So it is again two together. It's not just the human coach. It is AI is also there along with that. And that is the coach which makes a more difference compared to anybody else.
अंचल गुप्ता यांनी सायबर सुरक्षेबद्दल आपले अनुभवसिद्ध विचार मांडून कृत्रिम बुद्धिमत्तेबरोबरच इंट्युशन म्हणजे अंतःप्रेरणाशास्त्राचे हे महत्त्व सर्वांसमोर ठेवले.
What will be the role of security in the AI? This is my simple question for you, Anchal.
So this is a very, very serious concern now when we talk about adopting AI. Unfortunately, over the last several years, AI is nothing new. It was there. And I was working with large Fortune 500 customers for digital transformation. More than 80-90% of the time, of them were facing cyber attacks because they went fast on AI adoption and did not make sure that cybersecurity was in place. The awareness is coming. The companies as well as the governments have realized that any data which is outside the country, any data which is outside the environment is not safe. So that's the awareness is coming. The solution is not known. All that the cybersecurity CISOs and the government is doing is raising the awareness. So before we give out our data, it's important to be mindful on where that data is going and what is it being used for. It's super easy to use every AI product without being mindful of not knowing where that data is going. And there's a large part of the admin work, which like you talked about, transactional. That is what we are focusing on automating. So 70-80% of the admin work has been automated. And now the human intuition comes into place on when the critical thing happens, how to be preemptive versus reactive. So right now everybody is reactive. What AI would help is becoming preemptive, which is where everybody's head is around, how to automate as fast as possible so that human can play the preemptive part on cybersecurity.
समन्वयक व स्पीडीचे संचालक श्री अभिजित कुलकर्णी यांनी अत्यंत मार्मिक अभ्यासपूर्ण प्रश्न उपस्थित करून तज्ज्ञांकडून योग्य विषय उद्घाटित केले. त्याचबरोबर स्पीडी प्रकल्पाच्या माध्यमातून AI आणि इंट्युशन या दोन्ही शास्त्रांचा संगम कसा कालसापेक्ष आहे व त्याची गरज किती आहे याबद्दल सर्वांना सांगितले.
We are now aware about that how intuition is different with the intelligence. And now The topic for this panel discussion is the responsible use of AI. So immediately after intuition, if you can see that the word responsibilities come. And with any kind of innovation, the responsibilities are getting bigger and bigger. When the mobile arrives, when the TV arrives, there has been lot of talks happen about both of these new innovations, that what is going to happen with the employment, with the economy, with the legacy of the systems. But time has answers to all of those systems.
यानंतर अतिशय प्रभावी चर्चासत्रांच्या शृंखलेत AI आणि डिझाईन इंट्युशन या विषयावरील पुढील सत्र संपन्न झाले. याबद्दल सविस्तर समाचार सत्यबोधक समाचारच्या पुढील भागात आपण लवकरच पाहणार आहोत. आजच्या भागात येथेच थांबूया. पुन्हा भेटूया पुढच्या नवीन भागात. धन्यवाद. नमस्कार. Guru Mantra I Media, the mantra beyond intelligence.